The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. In this poem, you're going to encounter some of the vocabulary words you have on the list for this week. Instantly, I see the word diverged, and that's like a Y in the road where you come to where you can make the choice to go down one path or another. You're going to have the word hence, which means forward. You're going to have the word trodden, which means kind of like a beaten path or trodden or stepped over path. So while you're reading, pay attention to those words that are on your vocabulary word list for this week. You also have some skills that we have talked about this school year. One is repetition. There's going to be points of repetition from the beginning stanza to the end stanza. And you may say, well, I don't know what you mean by stanza. Stanza is, for lack of a better term, stanza is a paragraph in a poem. So in other words, the chunks of text. So that would be the first stanza, second stanza, third stanza, fourth stanza. And I will take this stanza by stanza within my think aloud and my talking to you as I read the text. So we will go on to the first text, but I want you to pay attention too to see if you notice at the end of each line, do we see some kind of what we call rhyme scheme? And that just means, do they rhyme in a certain way or do they not? Like when we see would, stood, both, could, growth. Do we have some rhyming there? Going down to the second stanza, fair, claim, where, there, same. We have some rhyming, but what exactly is the rhyme pattern? So there's two new things you've learned about poetry today. Just real quickly. Poetry is written in stanzas, and if you have a rhyming poem, you have what's called a rhyme scheme, and it's how each ending of the line rhymes with the next line or how the pattern is created by the writer. And in this case, the writer is Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Two roads diverge. So we've got a forked road, okay? You can go this way, or you have a choice to go this way. So you see the word choice. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood. When I think of yellow and woods, I definitely think of fall. I don't know if that's what Robert Frost is telling us at this point, but definitely makes me think of fall, and if that's time of year he's trying to convey, or is he talking about someone's life? Is he using symbolism, the symbolism of fall, to talk about life? And sorry, I could not travel both. So this person's got to make one clear-cut decision. There's no sitting on the fence. And be one traveler, along I stood. So this person did not take this choice lightly. It took a lot of pondering. He pondered and he mused over this choice. As I looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So one trail looked like you could look down it and you could see maybe where a trail had been created. So it's almost like a lot of people had gone down that path. Let's think about that for a moment. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim. So it's just as fair, so not meaning like life is fair, but just as fair. It looks just as good. And then the writer extends his thought by saying, and having perhaps the better claim. So saying maybe this road is better. And when it says claim, like maybe better choices along the way. Because it was grassy and wanted wear. I like that word choice, wanted wear. I'm thinking, what is it he wants where? So it wasn't worn down, so it wanted someone to go down. So a bit of personification. So it was grassy, so there wasn't that trodden trail that we see. So I'm going to start over from the beginning of this stanza. Then took the other as just as fair, and perhaps having the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. So one road was a little more traveled, so I wonder what that means. Does it mean more people went down it? Maybe it was a safer choice, whereas the other trail maybe had a better, in the end, outcome. It might have been more difficult to go down. Wow, that's interesting. Though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. So it doesn't look as trodden, but yet in the end they're worn about really the same. I wonder what that means. I wonder if there's what they're saying here, that maybe in the end, maybe it depends on the choice, how the people feel when they make the choice. Interesting. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Now that's interesting because we go back to the yellow wood, and if we say, and both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden path. So to me, when they say the leaves on the path, and then going back to the yellow wood, that confirms to me that the setting is fall. So, and both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. So trodden means to step on or make a path. So overnight, leaves fell on both of the paths. So nobody had gone down that path that particular morning. So this was a new day. So I'm going to start again from the top of the stanza. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first, so the first one where most people had gone down, for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way. So, okay, wait a minute. He's saying, I'll mark this one. Maybe when I finish with this other path, I can return and go down this other. So make one choice, then maybe come back and do something differently. That's interesting and also very creative. So let's go back to the line where it says, oh. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Wow. So is he saying that once we make one big choice in our life, that's it? That seals the deal? And it's hard for us to come back and make different choices, or choices maybe we wanted to do earlier, and now we've kind of sealed our fate, and this is the way our choices have led us to live our life? Very interesting. This is the last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Sigh is kind of like looking back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. And hence is just kind of an older fashioned term for forward. You will hear the word henceforward paired together more in today's writing. So in this case, hence means forward, but when you hear it today, it's paired with the word forward. I shall be telling this with a sigh. So when he's looking back on his life, I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So in this stanza, we have some repetition when the writer, Robert Frost, or the narrator, is reflecting back. He goes back to that line, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. So he took that second path, the one that wanted where, the one that not many people chose. I wonder what that means. Did he take the easier path? Or did he take the more difficult path that needed some hard work to maneuver because not many people had gone down that road before? So let's go back to the beginning of the stanza again. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence or forward. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I wonder what Robert Frost means by, and that has made all the difference. Does that mean that he feels good about his choice? Or does it mean that it made the difference in whether he was successful or not successful?